guys, CMAC here, back at it again, on my way to work, out on the daily grind. I am, let me tell you, today, gonna struggle. I'm so tired. I had a sort of average sleep, but after breaking last night, getting home late, ooh, that is so slippery. Having to get up early to go to work. Ooh, that sun's nice though, nice and warm. Geez, can definitely tell that we're heading towards winter at a rapid pace. These mornings have been quite brisk lately. Very chilly. I decided to wear my leather jacket lately because of just how cool it is. It's a little bit frustrating because, I mean, by the time the afternoon rolls around when I'm leaving work, I mean, if I leave work late then it's not too bad, but in the afternoons it's still pretty warm and humid, just that moist heat of Brisbane weather. But I don't think today's going to be the same. Pretty sure there's a chance of a couple little showers, so hopefully I can avoid them while I'm out riding around. Anyway, yeah, as you can probably tell, there's a couple damp patches out on the road. It rained most of last night, actually. I was surprised that I managed to get home after braking without the rain coming down on me. Because basically as soon as I got home, it just started pouring for almost the whole night until I went to sleep. I woke up and it was a little bit drizzly, and by the time I was ready to leave, the weather sort of cleared up a bit. So I thought, better make my move, jump on the bike and head on out. So here we are. I've been playing around with what some people call Lucid Dreaming lately. So I'll give you a bit of a background story. A couple weeks ago, had my first and only case of sleep paralysis, and it absolutely scared the hell out of me. So I'm the kind of guy that isn't afraid of many things. I don't get scared very easily. I love watching like all horror films that are out. There's not many that I haven't seen, and generally I'll watch them just laughing. I find horror films hilarious. But yeah, so I'm not one to get scared or is fearful very often, but this absolutely terrified me. So, like I said, it was a couple weeks ago, just normal night. One of the main reasons that I think that this happened, one of the main causes, was I had a fair amount of sugar before I went to bed, as well as I went to bed quite early. So there were a number of things that I changed from like my normal daily routine that could have caused this. But basically I got home from work, was just exhausted, and just had a couple biscuits before I went to bed, which, I mean, I normally do when I get home. I have a few biscuits or some sort of snack. I make up a little sandwich or something. Anyway, yeah, so I had a bit of sugar before I then ended up just like laying down on my bed and crashed out. Ended up waking up around 2 o'clock-ish and was just sort of chilling there and thought I ended up going back to sleep. But from the bit of research that I've done, it seems as though I'm sort of, by waking up at that time, introduce myself into the possibility of, say, a lucid dream, or in my case, unfortunately, had a case of sleep paralysis. So it was about 4 a.m. in the morning, I think it was. It would have been about that time anyway. And basically, it felt like I was awake and that I was looking around my room. But it seemed as though an old Asian man basically was holding me down, had me pinned down, and was screaming at me in a language that I couldn't understand. And there were all these bugs crawling all over me, trying to eat at me. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I was just frozen there. I couldn't say a word, couldn't move. The only thing I could do was just look around the room, and that was it. And boy, that was just one of the scariest things that have ever happened to me, by far. It was at work. I decided it must have come up on the side of something that I was browsing about lucid dreaming, and I decided to look into it a bit more. Anyway, so while I was at work looking into it, I sort of came to the realization that, hey, if I manage to get the hang of lucid dreaming, then I could potentially never have to worry about... What is that car doing? Just sitting in the middle of the road. I could potentially not have to worry about having sleep paralysis ever again. I'd be able to sort of break out of that and just have lucid dreams. I'll explain to you guys as to what lucid dreaming, the idea of lucid dreaming is. So it's basically being fully aware and conscious while you're in a dream so that you can basically control it. You can sort of think about whatever you want and do whatever you want, really. It's been about a month, maybe just over a month, and I've had it happen maybe 4 or 5 times now. I think I must just be one of the lucky ones, because there was a lot of discussion online that it generally happens. It can take like more than 3 days. It could take like up to a week before you have your first lucid dream. And somehow I managed to have a lucid dream on my first try. Bit of research went into it, find out different techniques. It seems as though I think there's 4 different styles. There's something like a wild, which is what I tried, because I think I've had something like that, similar to that method, happen and work for me in the past before I even knew what lucid dreaming it was. Well, I have to take it pretty cautious while I'm riding today. Sticks out, water's out. Not a good combination for a motorbike. There's a wild technique. I'm gonna put them up on the side. I'll put a little annotation saying what they are. I'm pretty sure there's 4. There's a wild, another one that starts with W that I want to say is the wake method. I'm pretty sure it's wake. And then there's 2 other ones, but I can't remember the names of them. Anyway, I've had all of my success using the wild method, and it seemed as though, from what I read, that it is the most effective method. And I guess that's probably why something like lucid dreaming happened to me in the past. Yeah, so a couple different techniques was going to bed fairly early so that I could then set an alarm before I actually have to get up, a couple hours before I have to get up. Nice indicator, man. Cheers. Really appreciate it. That should go to the idiot counter 1. Well, I don't know. I'll need to take a look at my other footage. I think I've seen 1 or 2 others. I'm definitely going to create counters for the amount of people that do stuff like that. I'm not sure what I want to call it. Just a bad driver counter. I guess something like that would work. To start with, I might change the name of it. Yeah. So, back to Lucid Dreaming. I set an alarm a couple hours before I needed to wake up. I think online it said like 5 to 6 hours into your sleep you want to set the alarm, which was pretty close anyway as to when I thought, because I was at the point before this happened where I couldn't really remember in my dreams whatsoever, or hardly any of them anyway. And so I thought, oh, I'm just not somebody who really dreams often. And then I came across and found that on some days when I get to have a bit of sleep in and whatnot, if I wake up, say like forget to turn my alarm off, wake up at the time of when I normally go to work, turn my alarm off and just stayed in bed, that I would end up having dreams that were rememberable. After figuring that out, I thought, oh, that's sort of along the lines of the wild method, and that seemed to have worked for me in the past. I've been able to have a couple dreams from that, and these dreams that I've been able to remember. So I thought, hey, if you help, I'll give that method a try to begin with and see how it goes. So I set the alarm for a couple hours, 6 hours into my sleep, and I've been practicing different methods to help you be aware of when you're in a dream. One of the techniques was to count your fingers, and that's been working for me fairly well, but I get the feeling that I've been missing out on turning a couple dreams into lucid dreams because I've been forgetting that. So I think I may need to play around with something else, but I'm just not quite sure at this stage. That seems to be the hardest part, is changing like from a normal dream to being conscious and aware. So basically what I do is I count my fingers on both hands, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I do that quite regularly throughout the day. Say when I'm at work or when I'm at home. But basically just random times throughout the day I'll do that. The reason why that's good is the repetition in it is that it then sort of jogs your memory that hopefully when you're in a dream and you go and try to do that, it doesn't work for you. And people say, what do you mean it doesn't work for you? How can you not count your fingers? Wouldn't it just be like a conscious thing? Well, what I found in my circumstances anyway, I'm not sure about others, was I was able to count one hand fine, but as soon as I went to count my fingers on my second hand, I had like 7 or 8 fingers. Basically my fingers just like kept going around, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then tried to count backwards and counted as soon as I like stopped, was like, whoa, what is this? Went to count backwards, counted my first hand again fine, and then my second hand was sort of just a bit of a blur. Like it was just a mush of fingers. And I was like, well, I can't count that. And that's when it clicked for me. I was like, oh, I must be in a dream. So the first time it happened, it was I guess you could say a semi-lucid dream, because I was aware of what was going on and was able to do a few things, but not to any great extent. Like, I was frozen in the scenery that I came into in my dream, which was in my house anyway, was around my house. I was sort of able to walk around, and there was like a party, I guess you could say, on. Just like a whole small gathering of people who I'd never met before, like famous people and dead people and a whole bunch of just random people. And I was able to walk around and have discussions with them. And I was aware that I was in a dream. I was able to create little things and do little tricks that are that you can't do in reality. But I couldn't say take off and fly, which by the end is sort of an end goal that I want to get to. Is I would love to be able to be good enough that I can fly around. So that's hopefully what I want to get to anyway. Yeah, so I've been keeping a dream journal, basically logging my dreams, whether they're lucid or not, when I wake up. Apparently that's good because then that keeps your brain more aware, more in tune, more active when you're having these dreams. So it helps you to remember what's happened to you. And I'm just gonna jump off the highway here on my way to work. Oh, so I mentioned one of the girls at the place where I dance at started singing that song by Rihanna, Work. And it is the most annoying song I've ever heard. I absolutely hate it. It is just horrible. It's like a combination of gibberish that nobody can understand and just saying the words work over and over again. I can't believe people like sing that, quote that and remember it. Oh, it's so frustrating. And I mentioned that to my mates like when I was at dance, because I heard her saying it. I was like, oh damn, I hate that song. I'm sure there's people out there that just absolutely love it, but no, it's horrible. It's crap. Gotta tell you, if you think that's a good song, you have a very poor taste in music. But yeah, so now when I mentioned that, they decided it would be funny to play it all the time and sing it all the time. Friends for you. Yeah, so keeping a dream journal for my lucid dreaming, counting my fingers on a regular basis. I think one of the methods that I need to try is trying to push your fingers through your hand, because apparently that's a good way to make you aware, because that way I can count my fingers, or if I forget to, I can just say like push my fingers through my hand. But I mean, hey, I'm just starting out, so there's a whole heap of different things that I can try. I mean, time's sort of not an issue. The reason why I wasn't too concerned, like I was mentioning before, about the effects on the body is because I generally do get a very good night's sleep. I mean, Wednesday night is sort of the only night where I'm up late. Get home late, come up late, and get up earlier. When I say that, I mean I'm going to bed at about 9:30, 10, and get up around 6. So I'm still getting a decent amount of sleep. Like 7 or so hours, which I think that's like minimum requirement for people who are over 18 or something like that. I know that for different age groups meant to get different amounts of sleep. Why is this light red? I'm not sure. I don't think it's because they were crossing, unless they pressed a button and then crossed when there were no cars and the light still wasn't green for them. Probably what happened. Yeah, so there's different time frames and it is different for every person, but there's a guideline that shows as to how much sleep different age groups are meant to get, and I'm pretty sure like 18 to say 25 or something. I can't recall off the top of my head. This is going way back when I like looked it up so that I was sure that I was getting the right amount of sleep, because there was a time when I was getting like 3 or 4 hours of sleep back in high school. I'd be up so late and it was just ruining myself. Like I just couldn't concentrate on anything the next day. So yeah, I think it's like 7 hours is the minimum recommendation. Generally I'll get 9 or 10. Yeah, I like getting a decent amount of sleep. After going through that stint in high school, I've definitely come to realize that sleep's important. Sleep is very important. It makes me be able to start the day so much fresher and basically concentrate for the entire day, not having to be lethargic. And I know some people are into staying up late, getting small amounts of sleep, and then drinking a whole heap of caffeine to make them all aware. It's like, that's just not right. The body is not meant to work like that. You're just like tiring yourself out. So even though I like to do a lot of adventurous things, and people will say that a lot of dangerous things, I love adrenaline, but I'm all for self-preservation. I don't want to ruin the body that I live in. I think my clutch is going. Maybe it's just that I'm not great at shifting from first to second on this bike, but I seem to quite often find a false neutral in between gears. Especially when I'm like, yeah, jumping through like that, jumping through traffic. It's a little bit frustrating, but I don't know, I'll probably replace a clutch soon anyway, and hopefully that helps. If not, I have actually been thinking about selling this bike lately because I just want something a little bit more enjoyable on my way to work. I mean, it's alright, it's not horrible, but I want something with a little bit more get up and go. Yeah, so I'm all for self-preservation, even though I do a lot of dangerous things. I don't want to be wearing out my body just for silly reasons like that, for not getting the right amount of sleep or eating unhealthy. I mean, I'm no health expert, and I'm definitely not the healthiest eater, but I try not to eat, like, I'll eat a bit of fast food every now and again, maybe like a couple pieces here and there throughout the week, but generally I'll eat fairly healthy. But yeah, so I'm all for self-preservation, and that's why when I realized that, oh, well, even if I was to do this lucid dreaming, that I'm still getting enough sleep most nights. Actually, almost every night. The only night that I wouldn't is, for instance, last night. But that's why when last night came around, I tend to turn off my alarm to wake me up so I can try and have lucid dreaming. A lucid dream. Potentially more. Well, hang on, I'll actually make a point on that. So the first time I was playing around with lucid dreaming, and when I actually had my first lucid dream, I was expecting sort of to just have one dream that I was lucid in for the night, but it was quite strange. So I had 3 dreams that night, at least 3 memorable dreams, and it was the one in the middle that was my lucid dream. So I went from having one dream to my lucid dream that I was aware of, and I think just the excitement got too much to me, because it's apparently something that happens is when you're playing around with lucid dreaming, you can tend to wake up if you're sorry, a bit of a yawn there. I wonder how many other people just yawned because they heard that. Apparently that's something that happens, that if you see somebody yawn, it's like a natural reaction to cause other people to yawn. I thought Subi was going to try and race me there. Like, I'm all for people trying to race me at traffic lights or whatever. It's a bit of fun. But, Because I mean, normally when I'm on the R6, they just don't have a chance, or the car will be a slow car. Wow, now he's sitting right on my tail. Cheers. Thank you. Nice and considerate. I'm gonna jump into here so he can go past me. Must be in a rush. Got a place to be. Yeah, when I'm on the R6, it's fine. Like, people don't really have a chance. There's only a couple of cars that do. Normally I can blitz them pretty well. But when I'm on the 250 and say I'm not actually on the road, if I'm in like a bicycle lane or something like that, it can get a little bit interesting because this is definitely not the quickest bike out. It does have a good acceleration to begin with. Like, I mean, hey, I reckon I'm faster taking off on it than I am on my R6 for, say, the first 5 meters. And then after that, it's just not a chance. But that initial go that it has is fairly good. I think it's just because it's so light. It's like riding a dirt bike, basically, with the, you know, how much it weighs. But yeah, so for instance, in a case like just before, when the Subi was beside me, and it's like I need to move into that lane, and they're trying to race me, it's like, come on man, give me a little bit of room, I do need, my lane's ending and I need somewhere to go. Yeah. Anyway, so back to my lucid dream before I get to work, and I have to end this video, which will be very shortly, just up ahead anyway. Been playing around with it, had the 3 dreams in that night, which was kind of good, because the 2 other dreams that ended up becoming quite memorable. Was able to jot them down, and so just sort of playing it by ear. If I get to a stage where I'm lethargic at work or quite tired, I may have to quit it, but at the moment it seems pretty good. And I mean, hey, I haven't had another case of sleep paralysis yet, so fingers crossed. Can I do it in my gloves? Yeah, fingers crossed. Anyway, so I'm going to end off the video here, almost at work once again. If you like this, hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this on a regular basis, hit subscribe, and don't be afraid to mention anything in the comments that you want me to discuss with you fellow YouTubians. More than happy to anyway. So yeah, CMAC signing out. Peace.